And we are live, and welcome to another edition of the Killer Be Killed podcast. I'm your host, Damian Ross, along with my good buddy, George Hutchins. George, for those of you who don't know, we've had George has been dealing with a little tragedy. We'd like to get an update on his mom. How's she doing?
All right. So for those, because I don't put my stuff out, too much in public, but for those who don't know, she was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer. It has spread into the intestines as well. There is no surgery. There is no removing it. They're saying, maybe a year or two if we're lucky. I mean, you and I talked about this. We hate time frames and shit like that, but she had her first chemotherapy session on Monday. So
Okay.
3 hours that she went and did that. And then the other night. So that would be Tuesday night into Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
She just felt like a complete bag of shit, was really, really sick.
Yeah.
So no, she's not doing great. I mean, my father's a complete mess. I'm a mess over it, but stand strong, right? We're doing what we can to try and stay positive.
I mean, again, real how fragile life can be. I mean, I've lost a couple friends to cancer, and a good friend of a friend of the family, their son at 17 was taken from us, and then that's any tragedy, So
Yes.
This is why we get in. It's important to understand how valuable time is,
100%.
and not taking people for granted, and choosing who you decide to spend your time with. And this is why I literally spend good part of the week just continue to reconnect and reach out to friends that I haven't necessarily. I've got a specific time of the day, after usually around mid-afternoon, after I've had meetings or the podcast or whatever, where I call one or two friends, and just shoot the shit and spend some time on the phone with them, and then try to do it. Because again, at the end of the day, we fight to preserve life and our way of life. And
I'll tell you just from this end. I mean, the whole hardest part of it all was we didn't have any warning. There was no symptoms over the years or anything like that. She had a little bit of pain in her stomach. So by the time the pain was there, it was already too fucking late. So it just goes to show, you never know. You never know.
Yeah. So again, thoughts and prayers as always. Everybody's pulling for you, and we'll continue to do this just to check in, and whatever. Again, I may not be particularly religious, but I am spiritual. So yep. I do believe we're all connected, and this is not there's not a randomness to a lot of stuff. So the good, a lot of the positive energy put out there. Hopefully, we can get we can get things moving in a quality direction. And yeah, so on that note, I want to take some time and talk about the Oxford High School murders.
Yes.
And there's one kid in particular that I really want to I really want to highlight here, and that kid is Tate Myre. Let me just share my screen.
Is this the one where I believe parents have been charged or something? Is this?
Yes, correct. Okay. So again, just a few, how we where we stand on this stuff is that. Can you see Tate there?
Yes.
Excuse me. COVID. Fighting a cold, and this is the time of year where I get sick, and everybody gets sick. So, I let things run its course. It usually takes about a week or two, and then we're done. So, point being is here you got Tate Myre. Again, where we stand and how we handle these tragedies is we don't give any credit or we don't mention the perpetrator's name, they're dead to us, because this is why they do these things. So we focus on the victims, we focus on the heroes, and there's one kid in particular that I just want to mention, because again, this would be your typical kid that would be let's just say considered to be a bully, possibly, like privileged and all these things. And time and time again, it has been kids who step up, who have played like combative sports in high school. All right. Either football players, wrestlers, ROTC kids, kids who have made a decision to understand violence and willing to put their bodies at risk for the good of others.
Yes.
And you've got this kid, again, he's my son's age. So I could see, my son or his friends, doing this type of thing. And again, so we still understand that these are still these are anomalies, right? But they still happen. And James Logan just posted, why aren't they metal detectors in these schools? I don't know, James. That's a good question. Recently we had a I don't want to call it a scare, but I think we talked about it in a previous podcast where one of the kids came to us. He had mentioned in the chat they had a mental health day, and the kid jokingly said, "Yeah, well, that's so we don't go and shoot up the school." Okay, joke, poor taste. But what happened was he got taken in. They met with police. They met with counselors. They met with the principals, and he got sent home. Now, what happened at Oxford is a tragedy, to say the least, because again, we feel these things could have possibly been avoided. So apparently what happened was, and I'm going to share another article with you. Apparently what happened was hold on. Bear with me, people. I'm getting there. Oh, no, that's not it. Sorry, that's the other thing I want to talk about. See, morons. Sorry. Here it is. Open link. Okay. Share. Okay, and this is from. Okay, we're on Fox. Nope. There we go. Let me just make sure. Thanks for everybody for bearing with me. Just remove. Stop share. Okay, cool. We got it. Okay, here we are. So apparently there's a 15-year-old student, and his parents, these nice people, purchased him a firearm. The kid had already talked about, he had artwork and he had items in his possession, detailing, that he wanted to shoot up the school. On Monday, a teacher saw him looking at photos of ammunition on a cell phone and prompted a meeting with a counselor. Again, looking at ammo on your cell phone, either way. So again, it's shit. I do that. During that discussion, the student told them that he and his mother had recently gone to shooting range and that shooting are sports. My family. Okay, great. Okay, this is something we do. School tried to reach a student mother that day, but didn't hear back following. Now, this I feel is an overreaction. At that, it's like she's like, whatever. But again, so you overreact on this. Okay, so now the next day, the day of the shooting, teacher alerted school counselors, the dean of students, concerning drawings and written statements that the student had created according to the letter. He was immediately removed from the classroom and taken to a guidance counselor's office. The student told the counselor that the drawing was part of a video game he was designing and informed the counselors that he planned to pursue video game design as a career. Okay, not completely implausible. Following that discussion, the student stayed in the office for an hour and a half. Staff called his parents, waited for them to go to the school. Letter noted while waiting, the student said he was concerned about missing his homework assignments, requested his science homework, which he worked on while in the office. No time did the counselor believe the student might harm others based on his behavior, responses, and demeanor, which appeared calm. Okay. Right? So still, I'm not faulting what's happening here. Upon a parent's arrival, the school counselors asked the student specific probing questions about his potential for self-harm and harm towards others. This led the counselors again to conclude that he didn't intend to. I mean, look, if you're asking somebody, you plan to hurt anybody, and they're going to tell you, what do you think they're going to tell you?
Exactly.
Right. So when he asked the child to take home for the rest of the day, he said the student's parents flatly refused, leaving their son behind to go to work. So if you don't think something is wrong with your kid, why? And you're telling me that he's not doing anything wrong. So right now, everybody doesn't believe that, they don't believe that he did anything wrong and he was about to do anything wrong.
Well, hold on a second though. Just
okay, go.
Above the line right above this paragraph here, apparently what the counselors had said that to the parents that this, you need to get counseling for your student or whatever within 48 hours. Well, if they didn't think there was any issue at all with the kid, then why are they saying to the parents that you need to get your kid 48 hours or get your kid counseling within 48 hours or they're going to contact Child Protective Services?
Yeah, that may be a like when you have like these harassment and bullying policies and these school policies, that may be something that no matter what triggers
it's
a
just
specific
mandatory
action, right? So if your like kid is like thought to be bullying automatically or in a fight, automatically they're expelled, right? So that that could be part of that, but again, it's the counselor saying that okay, we're gonna have a third party, talk to your kid. And you got 2 days to kind of work that out. So, while understanding this, decision caused anger, confusion, and promoted understandable questioning, counselors made a judgment based on their professional training and clinical experience. Denied all of the facts we now know. Okay, so the prosecutor said in a letter thrown, said whether or not the gun the students. So kid had the gun in his backpack. So I see where, again, the parents are definitely culpable here.
Yep.
Because they purchased a handgun for their 15-year-old son, which, by the way, if you're under 18, you can't own or possess a handgun. So, the fact that when they bought him the handgun, okay, fine. But then when you recently purchase a handgun for a child and then there's an issue with him shooting, I don't know. Do you check to see if the gun is secure? I don't know if you do. I would like to think I would, but
well, yeah, from a responsible standpoint, yeah, but
if the only thing that's happening with my kid is, if this is the only events indicating that, something may happen, then yeah, maybe I don't check to see if there's a gun there. But I mean, I don't know. there's definitely a the guns with Myre in the house, should be locked up. He shouldn't have access to it. He should, be asking before he could, have take the firearm. So,
Yes.
I mean, like, my stuff is still under lock and key. And I've got my youngest is 16. And yeah, that's it. I mean, we go to the range, he understands, but it's like, you don't take this out without, shit. So, and the only thing he has access to, like a shotgun or an AR, which are locked but still available. He's not sticking in his sweatpants, even though technically everyone's seen the video that you can.
Yep.
I'll be able to tell if he's going out of the house with the fucking AR under his coat.
Yeah.
So,
is that a fucking shotgun in your pocket, or you just happen to see it?
Right, exactly. So, I just, so the parents, there's more to this story as it will unfold. And while, immediately, we want to blame the parents, if the weapon was secure, where the parents didn't have, where the child didn't have access to it, then okay, right? Okay. So, problem solved. But the fact is, the kid could clearly get access to the weapon. Maybe he, always had access to the weapon, right? So, this is what's got to be investigated before we pass judgment on anybody. We are going to let them, let due process happen and let the facts come out.
That's right.
So again, next story I want to talk about is something that happened in, San Francisco, shocker, where a restaurant, Hilda and Jesse, refused to service to police officers that wanted to grab lunch while wearing their uniform. And they said that some of the police officers, they said that some of the servers felt uncomfortable seeing a firearm. And I quote, and this is what's funny: "At Hilda and Jesse, the restaurant is a safe space. Well, the presence of officers' weapons in the restaurant made us feel uncomfortable. We respect the San Francisco Police Department." No, you don't. "And we are grateful for the work they do.
No, you're not.
We welcome them into the restaurant when they're off duty, out of uniform, and without their weapons," they said on Instagram. Well, I argue that as soon as you tell those guys to leave and post this, it's not a safe space anymore.
That's right.
So anybody,
right.
If you're in the San Francisco area and you feel like, I don't know, smashing a window, not that I'm calling for this.
Yeah.
Or looting. By the way, you can't use the term looting because I have racist connotations.
Of course.
Unbelievable. The fun never ends. So if you're at Hilda and Jesse, by all means,
they might be a good place to check out.
Right, eat at your own risk. Of course, they got buried on Yelp, right? So, and that's what makes it, and that's what makes it great. They get buried on Yelp, and their rating goes down to like a half a star or whatever because they got mauled. And then all of a sudden they come out with an apology, and they're all, fuck you.
Yeah, you're a little late.
Holy crap, man. I can't. Yeah, dude. Come on. I just, these people, they want, and this is what happens with, when we deal in the war of the self-defense. It's like people rightfully so don't want to think about violence, don't want to deal with violence.
Of course they don't.
Right? The vast majority of people don't. Because if people were willing and able to accept that responsibility, a lot of things would be prevented. So that being said, they just don't. So when they see a cop, when they see a firearm, when they see these things, it reminds them of why that person is there and what their purpose is. And it makes them think of things that are uncomfortable.
Yep.
So they rather just, stick their head in the sand. I wish it away. Oh, gun violence. Oh, get rid of all guns.
Yep.
Crime. Police, use deadly force. Fucking get rid of the cops. Yep. So, you want to continue to defund. I mean, San Francisco's a shithole. It's out of control. I mean, California, my daughter's out there, she's in like a suburb of LA. So it's like, I'm going to say normal, but it kind of is. Yet, I know you weren't on the last podcast. I had an incident with that. Nothing new to report there, but we can get in that a little bit. So they, so, people are, they don't understand that, violence is part of human nature. I mean, they project, their thoughts and feelings on everybody else. And, when I ask them, I'm like, well, look, would you think to, rob somebody or rape them? Well, no. Then right away, you're not that same you don't share the same thoughts and feelings. So, police being there, if you feel uncomfortable, what you're feeling is a reminder of that evil exists and why they're there. And while you may think that you'd rather not think about it, instead be open-minded, and why don't you fucking thank them? Right? I mean, just, hey, thanks. They're saying all cops are great. Yeah, no, they're not. But again, it's worse than it is now because people are, put in this, at odds with, law enforcement from, what's going on in the media. Like, I talked about Kevin Strickland last week. He was imprisoned in Missouri for like 43 years. Came out for a crime he didn't commit. Where's BLM now? Yep. Where's, where are, these, people who champion the oppressed, rights? Where are they? They marching? That's something I could get behind. Poor guy was in there for 43 years. And he didn't cop a guilt. The guys who got convicted with him copped a guilty plea. They were out like 20 years ago. So, I'm like, holy shit. But no, nothing. It was a blip in the news. You don't hear about it. Why don't we put up statues to that dude? I said, I think I tweeted, I'm like, look, if we're still in the taking down statue mood, why don't we take down the shit we put up for George Floyd and put, Kevin Strickland up there?
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't fit whatever bullshit narrative.
Of course, they're too busy following your, fucking wonderful president and his viewpoints on fucking Kyle Rittenhouse being a fucking white supremacist.
Yeah, right. I mean, and what they don't realize is that, with Rittenhouse, I don't care what side of the law, what am I saying? What side of the political spectrum you are, you want your right to be able to defend yourself.
Yes.
And say what you want to, what you got to say. This is a self-defense is an apparent right. And they're like, well, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. I said, bullshit. I'm like, there's riots going on. There's civil unrest. This isn't, someone stole my bike. So, if someone were coming to your neighborhood or your town, cross state lines, he literally lived like, a couple miles away, and the family, his family had family in Kenosha, and their family friends owned a dealership there, so police aren't there to protect the car dealership. That's right. So you have a right to do these things. He's exercising that right. He tried to escape. There's video on this. Everybody's talked about this. He was found not guilty.
Right.
Okay. automatically condemned by, mainstream media as, going out there looking for trouble. I mean, no alleged in their language, none of that crap, right?
Nope.
It was just, this kid, white kid, MAGA kid, they ain't helping, it's like, so as soon as it doesn't fit that narrative of black versus white, conservative versus, liberal, not even liberal, I would say lefty, then it's, yeah. So anyway, I got some decent street fighting
Awesome.
video. Yeah.
God,
So this guy,
I love the street fight fails.
now this is actually pretty cool. Wait, hold on. Let's see, Chrome Dab. There we go. And I thank Barstool Sports for posting this. If you can. Oh! Okay.
Oh. Look. Oh, that's not good.
So. Why not? Yeah, of course.
He might have just killed him.
Yeah. So let's see that again, because there's a lot of shit going on. Sorry, man.
I mean, we got to sign this guy to a wrestling contract. That was fantastic. Be like a Samoan drop.
Yeah, that's exactly. So first and foremost, I'll put this out there. What's the most ineffective kick in a street fight? The one that leaves you, the one that leaves you most vulnerable, and it's one of the most common. It's the most common and easiest thrown in martial arts. The round kick. Hands out. I don't teach it in the system. I don't. Because it's more like a jab, and especially a leg kick or trying to go low right there that wasn't doing anything. And these kicks are meant to wear someone out over the course of a bout. I mean, you've done Thai boxing. I've done MMA. It's like, this is like what it is, right? It's not like one-step knockout. The other thing is that anyone who spent any time in any type of karate knows the first thing is that when you're sparring a white belt and someone with zero experience and you throw a round kick, what happens to you a lot of the time?
Your fucking balance.
Well, yeah, but you get kicked in the nuts.
Well, yeah.
Right? So, because they throw the same kick and you're exposing your center line and, your balance, of course. But in this case, guy throws his kick and then the other dude just stepped in. Now, this brings me to another point with like flying arm bars and all the other, fancy grappling shit that you see. So in judo, if you're locked up, if somebody gets you to this position, hold on. Where is he? If you're like this, hold on, hopefully I can stop it. Okay. If you're here and you're not taking him into a throw, they may stop the match. They do it especially if you get an armbar. Because of this reason right here. You do that Samoan body drop, dude, boom.
Yeah.
That dude was probably out.
Oh, God, right on the fucking cement there? Yeah.
Yeah. Plus your head, you think about the body, but also the referral shock from the head hitting the deck. I mean, yeah, man.
That dude who dropped him is a big boy, too. Look at that. And he got some fucking air. He jumped right up in the air to do it.
Yeah, he had a plan for sure. Yeah. That was no problem. He said, "Yeah, you want to go here? All right, we're going here."
Yeah, I think he might have done this before.
I think so too. But yeah, so this is why you avoid those round kicks. those sparring types of shit. And yeah, this is why you also avoid grappling. And this coming from me, my grappling experience, I would only wind up in this thing if some guy kind of threw a round kick and I stepped into it.
Yeah.
Like that guy. Right. You don't want to be the guy throwing a round kick. So it's like karate versus judo.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was good shit. So, what else we got? Okay. Oh yeah. And let me just stop sharing. Okay. You're gonna like this. Okay. Further proof that we still don't know how to act in public. Yeah. All right. Hold on. Wait for it. Let's see. Okay. All right. You see, we're at another sporting event.
Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Yeah.
Oh, the bitch just took her leg off.
Yeah, she took her leg off and is hitting somebody with it. That is some grade A gangster shit right there.
Wow.
Mike.
Okay, that's like the best improvised weapon that I've seen so far this year.
Dude, you can't make this crap up. I'm gonna take my leg off and beat you with it.
Yeah, like I would love to have been there to have seen how that transpired.
Yeah, right.
And to be in her head, like, what makes you think that?
Right. I'm gonna give up the ability to stand
to beat this
fucker. Holy crap, man.
And she did pretty good too. Like, she didn't lose her fucking balance. She's
no.
Too.
I think she's done this before.
Yeah.
But again, you never know, right? I'm like, next thing you know, you're in a fight, and yeah,
you're getting beat with a prosthetic leg.
You're getting beat with a freaking prosthesis. Holy crap! Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so now we got
I don't think we have a defense against a prosthetic leg, do we?
No, we don't. Maybe a prosthetic arm.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Yeah. So okay, so now let's get to some of our favorite martial arts fairs. Fairs. Can't even speak. This is a wow, amazing self-defense trick.
Oh, TikTok, yes.
Yeah. So, knife on the throat.
Yeah.
Dude, this is nothing to do. This, I mean, okay, there's 925,000 likes on this piece of shit.
Yeah.
And this is nothing to do with any form of real self-defense.
No. Looks kind of like a Korean boy bander, though, doesn't he? Like,
yeah, he's amazing. But it's like, there's no, okay, let's just go through this. The attack, there's no violence in the attack. There's no taking, there's no, motion. He's just kind of sitting here. Now it's the moving the elbow out of the, way. It's just, if somebody's got force on you and they're holding you and they're going to crank down and intimidate the shit out of you to get you to do what they need them to do. They obviously need you to do something because, if not, they would have just killed you right away. So they want something from you. They need to move you. Right.
Well, and look at the nice wide stance back there.
And so the ability to knock his elbow out of the way, it's useless, right? He does nothing to clear the weapon at all. So he's pushing his elbow, right? Which again ain't gonna happen. And now he's allowed to just kind of move it over. The guy just lets him,
of course,
do it. And then, and then the elbow, they're staying stationary. His feet don't even move. there's zero power in what he's doing, zero reality. And this also, brings up a point of, you got to take someone who's willing to do this to you seriously. And this freaking guy ain't doing it. Right? I mean, I get it. It's cute and all, but there's an underlying tone here that, yeah, that's cool. I'll just do that. Look at these little skinny dudes with somebody who's really willing to do that. None of what you're seeing will work. At all. And again, the obvious issue is that someone thinks it will. Someone out there is looking at that and is going, yeah, that's real. Wow, that guy makes it look easy. Yeah, no kids.
Well, look at this. Like, for what was it, 95,000 likes or some stupid shit like that? There,
950,000, 925,000.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, holy crap, man! I can't even, yeah, that's what you guys like. I wonder we stay in business. I wonder how we stay in business.
We're gonna start filming that kind of stuff. We'll give you that shit, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oh my god! Imagine if I did that. I'd be like, I'd be thrown out of my house.
That's right.
Like, holy crap!
You'd have to dye your hair the blonde, get that like little Korean blonde look.
Yeah, exactly.
It would work.
Exactly. Okay, so have you seen any of the? So this was viral for a while. Like, this is kind of rough. So this is a former running back. This guy, Zach Stacy, is like beating the shit out of his ex-girlfriend.
Oh,
I mean, his girlfriend, I'm assuming it's his ex-girlfriend. It's definitely his baby mama in front of the kid. Obviously they had, let me just share my screen. Hold on a sec. Hey, my buddy Kevin just posted. Hey, man, good to hear from you, dude. Yeah, so anyway, where am I? Kevin threw me for a loop. I haven't heard from that dude in like decades. See? But that's cool, man.
It is. It's around that time. So
yeah, right. We used to wrestle together back in the day, get into some trouble.
You're gonna show this video.
Yes, I am. So here we go. Where the hell are we? Okay. All right. So
things are way different now.
Guess not.
Jesus.
Yes, dude.
Oh, there goes the TV.
Holy shit.
Fuck me.
Listen.
You think that was okay? No,
now I do not. Please.
You thought that was okay? And they're gonna ruin relationships and talking about I'm destructive?
Listen.
Bitch.
Right.
God, please.
Yeah, dude, that's rough.
Yeah, that's wow. What do you say to that shit? Holy
yeah. I say it's rough to watch. It's rough to obviously to listen to. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's your attack, guys. Not the fucking Korean douchebags that you saw.
Right.
And, dude, video.
And make no mistake, that's a scary dude. So
yeah.
So people think about, you want to think about a professional athlete in any combative sport or even any sport. These guys are freaks of nature.
Yep.
All right. They've got, in order to even get a cup of coffee in the NFL, you got to be an amazing athlete. Right. So, and unless you've like actually like locked up with like an Olympian, unless you actually, played, on any level against somebody who wound up going to the pros or played at that level yourself. I mean, you have no idea how strong and
Yeah.
how fast these people are. So, I mean, look, I'm seeing a lot of things here. There's, again, there's like, some, again, there's like if your life is not threatened or the child's life is threatened, I'm like, there's no reason for that. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So, when they talk about, like, I mean, so much shit going on here. And this happens obviously every day. And it infuriates me. But again, he obviously needs a shitload of counseling, and I don't know what's going on. But you can also hear, again, I don't know what's happening behind this, whether she's baiting him or this is a real reaction to it, right? But, you can hear her, trying to continue to, talk to him and reason with him, right? And then once he gets off this, and look, I mean, I got that streak, I do, where I think a lot of us do, where once you flip the switch, you're all, you go off the rails, right? And then you're down that road. I mean, now I'm like, I'm a mild-mannered guy, so, and I don't think I ever was that, but at all, because I would never put my hands on, I was raised not to hit women.
Yes.
Or touch women in that manner. That's our generation. I mean, that should be every generation. Unless, of course, Bill Burr does a great bit where he's like, never hit a woman. Oh, well, what if she's like pointing a gun at you? What if she's like about to kill your kid? You know what I mean? I can think of a dozen different scenarios off the top of my head where you could hit a woman, right? But that's,
it's tossing a fucking waffle iron at you.
Right, exactly. You could just slip.
That's right.
So yeah, I don't, I don't understand, this on any level.
That was intense.
Yeah, where you're just like, get out. I don't know, man. If this is the case, if you feel yourself losing your shit, dude, just leave.
Yes.
Just take yourself out of the situation. There's nothing you can't. You got a better chance of changing somebody's mind on social media.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah. Because that always works. So, what do you got planned for the weekend, my friend?
Oh, if they don't shut us down again, I don't know.
You're going to get shut down again?
You know what? In our city, in our area, our numbers are up because of this fucking new variant. Jesus Christ.
Omicron.
Yes, Omicron.
Dude, there's only two things I give a shit about this: deaths and hospitalizations.
Yes.
Right? That's the only thing I care about.
So no, you got a picture of this. So about 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, our numbers here in Ontario were down like under fucking 200, right? Everything's great. And then of course, some medical guy gets on and is like, you know what? By the beginning of December, we're going to be up over 1,000 cases. Sure enough, November fucking 30th, 1,020, and now today we're at like 1,300. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like
again, I've got a cold now. I mean, this is the time of year where you get sick, and it's always especially when I was coaching wrestling, man, I would get the flu for like a week, even when I was wrestling. And that would actually, like, I'd lose like 8-9 pounds. And that would like get me down to weight from football.
Perfect.
So I mean, it was like 4 or 5 days just being sick.
Yep.
But my body's boom, and I'm done. So
are they forcing the booster?
So what's the population of Ontario? Like, so you said 1,300 cases.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I'd have to even fucking look. But we're talking like the population of
a percent.
Like the population of Toronto alone is like 4 million when you look at all of Toronto.
So we're looking at a fraction of a percent of people.
Less than. Yeah.
So what happens is when and this is the numbers and the statistic game, and that was it. So they'll do bullshit like, oh, 1,000, and then we got another 300. We increased 30%
Yeah,
in in a day.
that's right.
And I'm like, yeah, no shit. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, people spread it, and people went, and that's it, right? How many colds? How many cases of pneumonia? How many other shit? What's being, it's like
There is none because everything is fucking Omicron now.
yeah, and they're even saying that Omicron obviously isn't as, like the strain is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And they're like, yeah, dude, for some way we got to put into our mind that we're not going to get sick.
Yep.
Right. And then all of a sudden it was like that became the goal, which is an impossible goal because we're going to get sick. It's going to get transmitted. So, I said, like, even, Tom posts, we heard Canada's getting hit hard. And the fact is it? Maybe not. I mean, that's what they're saying.
No,
and
it's all over. I've gotten to the point where it's just like, all right, like now they're pushing the fucking boosters and everything, and it's just,
of course,
when's it gonna stop?
It never ends. It's the never-ending pandemic, and it's over. Yeah, until bodies stack up, and I go, obviously we want to avoid that, but again, the indicators are hospitalizations, who's getting sick, who's doing, and you're like, it's just not there. It's just not there. But again,
I'll tell you though, it's a real bitch for trying to make any kind of plans to fucking travel because now things are changing on the fucking daily, and trying to get back into Canada is a nightmare for people. It's not a good situation. It just makes you not want to fucking travel. I was looking forward to 2022 getting out, doing some seminars and workshops. You and I've been talking about that.
Yep.
And who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows what we're going to be able to do?
Yeah, I said it's getting frustrating and beyond frustrating, and I think most people are just done with it. We're fortunate enough where we can, decide where we want to live in the United States. I mean, if the states are diverse enough still, where, again, I've got my son's in junior in high school. I go, when he's done, my wife and I are relocating to some place that's just a little bit more a little bit more sensible and reasonable.
Yeah.
And at no point am I like, like anti-vax, but again, it's like, this whole thing where you're like, oh, you don't believe in science, and you're like, dude, I believe science and these institutions that literally fund the news media. How can you take someone serious when you're looking at CNN and all the Fox and everyone that's sponsored? This segment sponsored by Pfizer.
Exactly.
What the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm no brain surgeon, but holy crap. Yeah. I just, I'm like, you guys can't put that together, and there's like no, I don't know. I just, right now, things are, again, hopefully, again, pendulum swinging. I think the reasonable people are starting to, raise their voice a little bit more. Yeah. Because for the most part, like most people, they just want to get on with their lives.
Of course.
Right. And they've got people telling you that, no, you can't, it's like, it's all about, look at the Rittenhouse thing. It's all about control, right? It's about, no, this is your narrative. You don't have the right to defend yourself. You don't have the right to protect property and others, right? You don't have the right to, unless of course you were a protester, on the other side of it. But again, don't get me wrong. I mean, the people extreme right are out of their minds too.
Of course.
The only problem is I have more in common with the nut on the extreme right than the nut on the left. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. So anyway, so the weekend, what we were talking about?
That's exactly right. Nah, you know what? I'm probably just gonna go spend some time with family, right? Because I mean,
of course,
with the situation, right? Fucking every day's a blessing, so try and spend as much time as I possibly can. try not to, I got to be positive, right? Because I think I've talked about this. My mother is like a very, very fucking negative person, like very negative. Gold could fall from the fucking sky. She'd complain, because it's heavy hitting her in the head.
Right.
Just the way she is, right? And with something like this, you need to be positive.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And try not to, how she, again, try to, keep her active. As you said she was, that's just really, getting her out and doing that. So, yeah. Now like for us, like the holidays started kicking in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like every weekend, we got something going on. And now basketball season is here. So my son's playing varsity and he's actually pretty good. So I got a scrimmage today. And then another scrimmage Saturday. Fire department's got their Christmas party. The gun club's got their Christmas party. I don't know if I can't go to the gun stuff in the gun club because he's playing in the morning. And then Sunday we usually just get sandwiches, watch football, and then Monday kicking it up again.
I'm sure with this time of year though, we're gonna get like tons of fucking videos of idiots who don't know how to act out in public when they're Christmas shopping and shit. So that should be fun.
Yeah. There's not for again. People are just they forgot. People forgot one. People forgot. People think they all know how to fight.
Yep.
One, and they've lost the decency towards one another. I still, even though this is what we do, I still don't understand, what, someone, just a fight over something at a freaking sporting event.
Yeah.
You fight when your life is threatened, right? Not because some guy tells you your team sucks.
That's right.
Or whatever. He's wearing a different colored jersey. Are you that much of a moron? Apparently, yeah.
That's right.
So, you guys keep it up because at least, I'll sell backpacks and fucking, memberships and let's go.
Yep.
On that note, the first responders are in the backpacks. The Switchblade trying to get them in. They're being finished up, gonna air freight a bunch of them in for Christmas. We have all the armor we need in, and the Switchblade, we again just tweaked the design a little bit. It's like a little heavier duty than it was before. And we are so those are going to be, hopefully in time for Christmas. Worst case scenario, you get them like right after Christmas.
Okay. Yeah.
But again, then we'll have stock and we'll continue to, build it throughout the year. But yeah, as people are morons and they still don't know how to fight. And, people are losing respect for one another and I knew there was going to be a problem as soon as words were taken as aggression.
Yes.
When you get these microaggressions and things like that, when back, what we call somebody, that guy's kind of a dick. Right. I mean, or that question had a little edge to it. Now everything's seen as a microaggression and translated into violence, inappropriately translated into violence. So that's what, that's what we're dealing with. And that's why you're going to see, this pendulum come back because look, there's a lot more fights now than there were 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
Stadiums. It just seems that that's what's happening. Airports, stadiums, people are again putting crowds that, and then they're forced to just, they're not used to deal with people, with somebody in their own space. Add that to, the narrative that's being pushed between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated.
Yep.
As, unvaccinated people are stupid. They don't believe in science and you're going to get me killed. Right. You don't wear a mask. You're going to kill me.
Yep.
Which is the farthest from the truth on any scientific study that you want to look at. But still, that's what's being pushed and that's the perception. And now people feel their lives are threatened just because you're close to them. Yeah, that's a problem.
The
And
huge
if,
problem.
and if you read, Hitler's Table Talk, you'll know about, pre-World War II, how Jews, gypsies, homosexuals, how these groups were viewed mostly as unclean.
Right.
Not necessarily. I mean, there was an economic twist to it, but before that, I mean, Hitler took 3 or 4 baths a day. He was a germaphobe. They started, it was with tuberculosis. They started, fumigating factories, and then, pointing out certain groups of people that could potentially infect, the German population. And then that's it's happening. We need to be very, very careful, very tolerant of people's opinions.
Absolutely.
I'm like, this North America, because I include Canada in this, obviously, that, started with, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, right? This is the first place that was founded without a monarchy or a dictatorship. So, yeah, I mean, I heard one of Jeffries, the comedian, talking about freedom and pursuit of happiness. And he goes, everybody wants that. I go, yeah, no shit, but we kind of started it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm like, yeah, dude. I mean, this is what it was. So now that's what we have, and that's what we have got to preserve. And it's the first, right to free speech, right to bear arms, and self-defense, your right to your opinion, the right to defend yourself. These are all primary, pillars. That's redundant, but these are all pillars of, of quote, a free society.
Yeah.
What's free? I mean, the free is that, you can pursue, improvement. You can pursue happiness. It's not a guarantee for happiness. And, when asked, about, systemic racism and things like that, I'm like, look, there's 2 things that make people successful. And that's, one is family. So if you have a good family system, family structure, and 2 is education.
Yeah.
We look at the Asian population in the United States, for example. They're kicking ass and taking names. And we've had, multiple wars, 3 wars on their continents. We dropped 2 nukes on them. And still, they're what? They've got massive family values, huge family value, core family union, and education. They, it is all about, getting good grades, getting educated, and improving yourself. I don't know if I mentioned this before, so first time I was out in California for an extended period of time, I went and, I'm just getting shit for my daughter. I've been out there before, but not like I went to I didn't go to the supermarket. I didn't have to, I was either on vacation or business or whatever. So every aisle is bilingual.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, you think about it, at first blush, you're like, okay, yeah, we've got immigrants here. We want to help them, find, where the toilet paper is.
But what bilingualism would that be?
English and Spanish.
Okay. All right.
So, but then when you think about it, if they don't have a reason to learn English, if I went to France and I don't speak French and I have to go get a job,
yeah,
what could I do? Well, I can work in a restaurant. I can work construction. I can do manual labor because you show me what to do and I'll do it. I couldn't do what I'm doing now. When we're building websites and working on, developing product, I need to speak English to somebody because there's subtleties of the language that are extremely important.
Absolutely.
So the easiest way to cage people in is to, have them live in their own communities, give them access to just the essentials to sustain life, and that's it. So if I'm an immigrant from South America, right, and I don't understand, English, and I come in, but I can see, I go get my food here, I go work there, okay, I can pay, I can do this. Great, now I'm living, and that's it. Do I get out of that cycle? Probably not.
That's right.
Probably not. Especially if, I don't have, again, like, given what your, core family values are, if I don't have a support structure here, that puts an emphasis on learning the language, getting educated, and moving forward. Like, my ancestors did. Like, I mean, my grandparents and great grandparents that came over, they weren't allowed to speak Italian in the house. It was English. We speak English. That's it. None.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Every Asian family that I know and I'm friends with are extremely successful, and all of them have an intact family unit. So whatever, that's what the data shows. So on that note, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We also, George, we're on our Facebook accounts as well and YouTube. So I'll post the rest of this video. And then, George, again, appreciate it. Everybody, thanks for joining us. And until next time, train honestly.